back with no bra and a ponytail. About to conquer the world, baby. No, really, I have to admit that I am irritable. And it's because I'm stressed out. Now, last video I talked about being stressed out and how I know I'm stressed out and the reasons why. But here's a little bit more. I've been experiencing headaches on a consistent basis, like nearly daily for the past month or so. Yeah, for the past month, because I've been in the shelter since the 16th of June. So it's been 3 weeks. In between getting home late after working 2 jobs on the daily, and then being forced out at a certain time, having to come in at a certain time if I'm not working, the different women who are in and out of the specific dorm that I'm in, and then those different personalities on top of the different personalities I deal with at work as far as coworkers and as well as guests. And then on the bus, I'm around people and their personalities. I'm a person who not just likes solitude, like being alone by themselves, but I crave it. I'm not very codependent, and the older I get, the more I see that codependence only gets worse. Like, people have this overwhelmingly desperate sense of needing another human being around. And I mean, like, when I'm around people and they automatically start like mirroring me, if nobody likes the word copying, mirroring me, repeating the things that I say as far as jokes, or even if it's culturally significant or specific to my childhood, if they think it's funny enough, cute enough, interesting enough, they'll repeat it. And that shit is neurotic to me. When we express that everyone needs therapy, I think I want to take it as far as saying, I've said some meaner things, people tend to call me mean, but this isn't going to be nice. A lot of people need some sort of stay in a mental institution for a while. I don't think I'm exaggerating. Or maybe I am, but you meet so many people who talk about being in therapy already, as when I'm comparing the person that I knew before and the person who's arriving after therapy, it's as if, so are you actually changing, or have you found a way to talk to your therapist so that they can further enable your behavior? I remember watching somebody the other day. I can't quite remember who it is. If I go through my history, I could probably find it. But they were talking about how humans, we weren't born to show compassion and to consider and care about another human being. We exist to survive. And survival, yes, in a sense, it means community. But then within that community, it's like, who can I compete with? Survival is competition. Survival is competition. You can't survive, and survival isn't just not dying, not being taken out or unalived. Survival means attention. It means the popularity. It means taking the spotlight away from another human being. At least that's how humans interpret it. And although, like, I'm athletic, in a sense, being as old as I am, I'm still pretty athletic. I have different interests, and for me, in my mind and my sense of being, like my heart, I've always wanted to be around other people who are succeeding, and I wanted to see my friends succeed in a way that they want to succeed. I can't really think of a time personally for myself where, when it came to at least close friends, I felt like, this cunt must die type of shit, if you know what I'm saying. Not necessarily trying to unalive someone, but like, she needs to be pushed out of the spotlight, you know, humbled and shit like that. And I feel like, okay, comparing when I took my leave from work, which was like, 12 weeks, up until now, mind you, I've only been back to work for a month and like 4 or 5 days, based on the date. And everything has come back full force. The headaches, the panic attacks before, during, and after work, the indigestion. And it's like, oh my God, how realizing this. You know, like, how am I not, what am I doing or not doing to be able to function like an adult, to work, and still kind of adjust myself to the world like everyone else has. I've been told before that I just stand out. And like, I take it as a compliment, but most of the time I kind of just want to exist safely. And being the adult that I am, I know that standing out is not safe. So, work, and then overbearing human behavior on top of like, usually I'm optimistic, but I'm not optimistic right now, especially about the lack of any sort of living situation that I have. Well, I do have the dorm, the bed in the dorm, but that's like the ladies who are coming in and out, and every human has a personality. I find humans fascinating, which is why I studied sociology in college. But already, like, I never really understood or could comprehend how people form such strong bonds and friendships within 10 minutes of meeting each other. And then how often people kind of force it on me. It's like, hold on, partner. Are we going to earn each other's friendship, trust, and respect? Because I think those are things that you earn. You earn respect from a person. Like, there's general common courtesy, and then there's respect, if you know what I'm saying. And then trust. Like, once people start to respect you, they may like you a little bit more, and then they start to trust you. Once they trust you, and after having, you know, some sort of like, you know, we have lunch together every so often, or, you know, we've been seeing each other at the same gym, and after inviting each other to lunch, or, you know, learning that, oh, you work at the same spot that my friend works at, or, oh, I work in the same building as you, but I work on a different floor because I'm in a different department, type of thing. Like, the trial and error, room for discernment. I can't get this out of my mind, because this is what happens to me. Whenever I open up too much, I tend to shut down. Not simply because things fall on deaf ears, though people are very much paying attention to me. And that's the thing, like, people are paying so much attention to me, like they're salivating, they're waiting to devour me. So, I was able to get one of the girls who asked me to do her hair. I was able to get her hair done. But I found out, like, her first night was yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And then I found out, like, apparently she wanted to go to, or come to the library with me. And, you know, we were chit-chatting. And I told her, I was like, you know, I can meet you at the library. I'm probably not going to stay there long because I'm in and out, you know. I usually go to the library in, like, shifts, phases, or what have you. But that morning, yesterday morning, she didn't leave when I left. I left around 7-ish. Because I was doing other things. Like, I didn't go to breakfast at the community cafe. I left, hopped on the bus, because I'm house hunting. I'm trying to find a place to stay. So I went around doing that. And then it was something else I did. I kind of forgot. I'm usually just on the go, because I'm not trying to stop and ponder and think about my situation too much, because I don't want to get emotional or distracted by my feelings. So I just keep going. I'm on the move. Like, I need to do something, keep moving in order not to feel too much at one time. But by the time I got back into the dorm by curfew, she was talking about how she'd been looking for me for hours and stuff like that. And then I had brought back some sushi, because I also missed the community cafe for dinner. I had brought back some sushi, and then it was not only the girls who hair I was doing, but it was also another girl from the other side who likes to come over to our side of the dorms and talk. And it's like, not that I don't really get the sense that you're trying to be friendly and form some sort of bond, but it seems like you're trying to force me into something, and I don't like being forced into anything. And it comes off overbearing and, like I said, neurotic. Like, so yeah, I'm talking to the girls eating my sushi. One girl, the girl from across the dorm, she's younger than me, but the other lady is older than me. But they're always asking for shit. And they were begging me for my sushi. And I was just like, go ahead, y'all can have it. I ate half of it, but I was like, you know what, you can have it. Because I thought it would shut them up and, leave me alone until it was time to get the girls, to do the girls' hair, but it didn't. Now, while I was doing also while we were talking, the conversation became sexual. And that was a bit uncomfortable for me. Not that I'm not a sexual person or enjoy sex or I'm afraid of sex, no. It felt like I was the target, like I was the piece of meat. Same with how men are. If the slightest little inclination of sex arises, the conversation ceases to be normal when it comes to men. And that's what happened with the ladies. I don't know if both of them were into it. I know for a fact that the other girl is, because she talked about, her day included being with her homegirl, and then they had an encounter that day. Okay, cool. But then we got to talking about, okay, my cakes, my cheeks, and how I walk and stuff like that. And I'm like, girl, thank you for admiring me, but read the room, quite literally. I feel like I'm talking too much. I don't like being very open-hearted. I really don't like talking about myself too much. So anyway, things move on. So I wanted to go shower. We all had to shower together. Like, I couldn't go into the shower by myself. We had to shower at the same time. Oh yeah, shower buddies is what they were calling it. Okay, not too harmful, but I'm around people all day, and showering alone, or at least going to shower by myself and listen to my music, that's about the only sense of peace that I have throughout the day. Now that's gone. After the shower, I started on her hair, and she became overbearing about her hair, which I understand in a sense, because what black woman isn't funny about her hair? But before I even got the first twist in, she was telling me to do this and do that, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. I'm like, well, then what do you want done to your head, child? Talk to me. As often as I've been told that I'm too confident, too bold, I don't want to say I never ever try to adjust myself to people, but when I do, I end up regretting it because I feel so drained after sometimes the simplest interactions. Oh my God, this is I'm talking too much. I feel like I'm talking too much. I don't want to say too much. I'm usually honest, like I don't mind telling the truth, but I've come to learn that's not good. That's not something people like. Then anyways, I'm doing her hair. She told me about it's taking too long. I'm like, mind you, we started like 9:15. We ended at like 12:15. 3 hours. When it takes, doing my hair takes at least 8 hours. Sometimes with 2 people. Okay? 3 hours, but in between that, she had to go outside and take a smoke break. I don't smoke, but I have all this smoke blowing in my face. And then, like, she couldn't have her smoke break and go back inside. She wanted to smoke and sit outside, and I get ate up by mosquitoes like crazy. So I'm out there twisting her hair as she's smoking, talking, and just sitting out there. And I'm getting bitten by bugs and mosquitoes. And I was like, finally I was like, hey, can we just go ahead in, because I'm getting ate up by these bugs, and, the breeze might feel good, but it's still rather humid outside. So we go back in the room. Excuse me. I'm finishing up her hair, finally. But she was like, okay, well, how you gonna style it? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I'm like, what do you want done to it, sweetheart? Like, I'm trying to, you asked me the first time you said braid your hair, but you didn't want to get no new hair, so we're using the hair that you had in your head. You're complaining about, I don't have a picture. But I did a good job. I mean, I can do my own hair. Anyways, but you're complaining about how I part, where I part, and what I'm doing because your hair is so soft and shit like this. I'm using your braid gel. And then you want a half up, half down, so I did a half. I call it a half ponytail, but everybody else just says half up, half down. But I had the half ponytail at first, and I was going to, like, pull it to the back. But no, she wanted it up high. And I'm like, okay, well then we'll have it up high, but your hair's kind of thin, so I'm going to put it in the bun. That was fine. That was the one thing that was fine. She didn't complain about too much. But she didn't, like, she got these little, like, charms that I have, too, in my hair. She had those. She complained about how I put those in her hair and the string, the gold string. But it's like, you don't want to do it on your own. You told me to do it. I had tied the string, like, around her hair, her bun. I put the shell in it, and the shells were, like, despite me doing it as tight as possible, the shells would come off the shell was on, it's the shell, and then it's a small circular piece attached to the bigger circular piece. The bigger circular piece was what I used to adjust. Those were staying in her hair, but the shells were coming off. with the smaller circular metal piece and just falling. She was complaining about that, but she still had some left over. It's like, okay, well, use the ones that are left over, like they're right here. What I'm saying, she would never touch them. It just stressed me out for a couple dollars to do somebody's hair who begged me. And then again, like coming in from work after talking to people all day, running back and forth and doing this and doing that, I want to come back to a place where there's some sort of peace, where I get to be quiet, shower, and then get out and like be still for a moment, maybe read. I don't get to do that because they just start talking to you. If you ignore them, or even say, like, even when I say, okay, I'm a little tired right now, so I'm gonna relax. Okay, but then like my kids don't even do this, not anymore. They just start talking to you after you said, I'm trying to relax. Then, so last night, I was like, after I had done her hair, and the other girls were like in the room, but I was like, I'm probably just gonna take whatever violation I get tomorrow because I'm very tired, even though I had the past, because Monday I had all day off. Tuesday I was supposed to work, but my job flooded. So, you know, they told us not to come in. So I had 2 whole days off. And I was like, I'm gonna take whatever violation I get because even though with the past 2 days off, I didn't get to rest in a way that I felt was sufficient. So I'm just leaving, I'm gonna leave late tomorrow and take whatever violation I get. I feel like it's gonna be worth it for me just to get some rest. When I tell you, when I woke up at 8 o'clock, mind you, I thought I was gonna sleep until about 10. But I woke up at 8 o'clock. None of them were. The girl in front of me, she was up and at least changing her clothes, but she said she didn't wake up till like 7:30, 7:40. But everyone else, when I woke up, that's when they woke up. This is why I still have on the same shirt for one thing. Because I was just like, wow. They're not even up and dressed like that. So I don't get to rest and I don't get the privacy that I'm seeking. I'm just gonna throw on what I had on yesterday and leave. So I did. However, by the time I had come back from like putting on what I had on yesterday out of the pajamas I was wearing, the other girls were gone, but the lady whose hair I done, she was outside waiting on me, asking me where I was going. I was like, well, she asked me if I was going to the library. I was like, yeah, I will be going to the library, but not right now. Hopping on the bus. The library doesn't open until 9:30, and it was like 8:15, 8:30 at the time. So I had a whole hour, and I wasn't just about it. There's way too many men who congregate both in the midway of the shelter and at the library. And I didn't feel like being hit on or harassed that day. Well, I never do. So this is why I go to the bus station. I'll hop on the bus that has about a 1-hour bus route. And by the time I get back, I can hop on the bus that drops me off at the library. No, I don't know. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but like I said, I do believe that friendships are wonderful and people need friendships and community. But I don't understand codependence because, well, for one, I guess it would be a trauma response. Everything's a fucking trauma response. But growing up, I wasn't allowed to depend on anybody. I've never had a soft space to land. If I did have a soft space to land, I'm like, well then what's the 22? This is the catch. You're catching me right now. What's the 22? What's the other side of this? What the fuck do I owe? It was always nothing. Grow up and find out that's some bullshit. So trusting people is hard for me to do. I don't trust people.